Zafar, could you turn up your mic a little bit or something? Because I don't know, I'm having a hard time hearing you.
Oh, really? Mm. Okay, hold on. Let me try changing my settings. Okay, is it any better?
Yeah, that's better.
Okay. So we talk about the soft link, hard link, and let's see here. Okay, we could talk about the cut command, okay? So I'll show you how the cut command works. Uh, I'm not using as much cut command, but if you end up in a place that you're processing a lot of files, you could end up using the cut command. So let's do a ls here. In I'm running this command. What I'm doing now?
Deleting all the old files.
Oh, all the files are gone. Okay. Okay, I'm running this command. What will happen? ps-ef greater than file1. So the output is going to go into the file1 instead of coming up in the display here. See, we have so many lines that came up in the display, right?
Yep.
All this is going to go into the file. See, nothing came up on the screen. So it's all in this folder here. So let me do some editing. Okay, so the way cut command does is it just you have to have a similar looking file for it to work. Like you have so many rows in here, so many rows and columns. So most of the time what we're using is we're using cut command to take out the rows. Like for example, if you think these are like junk, you're reading through the file and you don't need this column, right? So what you need to do is you could run the cut command and then you could figure it out. So this is one column, and wherever that space part is, this is another. That's 1, 2. This is 3. This is 4. This is 5. This is 6. This is 7. This is 8. This is 9. Then this is 10. This is 11. So let's see here. I think these, it could be, these columns it could be looking at this as individual 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. but we'll figure it out how these columns work. Okay. So if you have this information, but you want to remove like a junk information here, like this column, all zeros. So what you could do is you could use the cut command, and then you just type cut. Cut is a built-in function. Okay, that's a built-in command. Okay, you type cut and then -d. So this is how it goes here. And then you're looking to cut it where the delimiter is. Sometimes, the file is filled with delimiters. Delimiters is either it could be a space or it could be a special characters all between the files. So right now, instead of semicolon, we're going to use space. Space is a delimiter. Then you do -f. Over here, it shows you like field. F stands for field. So this is field 1, and then this is the space. Then this is field 2. So this is the space that is going to remove from. Okay? It's going to bypass this and then try to grab this space here. So we're cutting that, and then I'm taking first column, and then let's see third column. I haven't ran this in like ages, so let me see if it's going to run for me. And say there is a space in here, and then you give the space, and then when we are giving this less than arrow sign, what are we giving? What is
Input.
that? What you say?
The input.
Input, exactly. It's telling to go through all this command, and then where do you want to run that on this file? That's an input file. That's the file we're telling it to give. Okay, so this is cut command D. The positions are numbered from 1. Try cut. Okay. So let's see what it did here. Okay. Okay, so number 3 is, I think it's a blank. Let me put in 4 here. Let me see if it's going to bring anything up. Oh. Okay, so in this example, it's let's see what it's doing here. Actually, what it did was it removed all the blank ones that had a delimiter with the colon, the semicolon in it. So if you look at the regular file, cat file 1, so it removed this portion and it removed this data, okay, because this one has a semicolon in between them. But I don't want to do that. What I was trying to do is I was trying to just use the space here, and it's not working actually the way I want it. Let me give it space there. If I just give the space, it's taking everything out of it. So you could see, I mean, this command is not efficient compared to what we really wanted to have or get. So to replace that, we have awk command came in. Okay, we could run the same command and see what will come up. Okay, let's do that. Invalid character.
Oh, you don't have a dot in between the quotes, unless you're just taking out spaces.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to do.
Oh, okay. So yeah, yours is going to be different than the example.
It says invalid character. So it needs a character in there?
Maybe you can't use it to take out spaces.
Okay. But to me, it doesn't seem like it did anything. Let's see here. Print. Okay. I'm not sure why this is not working. All right, let's skip ahead on this one. I'll come back to this two again because cut didn't give us the good information we're looking for. Okay.
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 All right. So let's see here. Let's talk about alias. What alias is, what it does is you could create an alias if you have like a long command, and if you want to combine that command and then give it a personal name to it, you could. Okay. So what you would do is just simple. You type a command, alias. Bashar, what is your favorite command?
For what?
For anything. So far, what's your favorite command?
So you want to create a file or what? Create a folder. Let's say touch.
Okay, good. Touch. Okay, so his favorite command is touch. So what we could do is we could give it a Bashar name. and then we put an equal sign, and then we open double quotes, and then maybe he like this command touch, and then you want to create like file one.
But guys, there is there is a weird voice. I can't hear it. I don't know.
Yeah,
Like
it looks like Ali. His
Someone's not muted.
Yeah, Ali's mic is
Hot.
giving some feedback or something.
No, this is breathing.
yeah, now it's fine. Yeah, now I'm fine.
Yeah, it's better.
So we start with giving it a name alias, and we are naming whatever command is going to follow. We are going to name it Bashar. Okay, and then okay, so Bashar, he want to create like a file 1, file 2, file 3, file 4. These are standard files, right?
Yes.
So it enter, and let's do ls. So it's only file 1 here. So next time, you just type Bashar. So what do you think happened here? It ran this command. Oops. It ran this command. Okay. Let's do ls. See? It created F1, I typed F1 twice, so that's why it's created only once. Smart. So like this, you could see how you could really use this, right? You have like some redundant commands. You are troubleshooting something, and then okay, let's go into some other folder. Okay, let me do mkdir. And then there is nothing here, right? So instead of typing touch command, and you have created an alias, you just type Bashar there, and then all of a sudden it's gonna remember this. It's gonna remember what you have there. Okay. Now you could build up on it. You could make more. You just can't. You just don't.
Now there is questions for like you can name like the file in the same name on different folder.
It's gonna run the same exact command, whatever you want.
I know, but I mean.
Yeah, any folder. See, yeah, we came into a new folder and we didn't type touch. We typed Bashar and it created all that.
So like it means it can be like file. It has the same name in different folder.
Yes.
But it doesn't have the same. But like folder doesn't have the same name. Yes, you said it's not allowed.
Well, when you when you do that, you probably overwrite it.
For folder no, but for the file yes.
Yeah, for the files you're probably overwriting it.
Okay. Yeah, yesterday you explained about it, but you said like it has the same IB, like the same IB.
Mm-hmm.
If it's original file or what you said, like if it's strong file or heavy file or low file.
So when you run this particular command here, Bashar will run this here.
You have original file like, but in two different heavy file in two different places. Yes, this is what you mean.
It's a hard link, yeah.
Ah, okay.
So apparently, what you ran this command here, it overwrote it. It deleted those files and created one, because when you create a touch file, it doesn't prompt you. It will overwrite it. See, it created at 38 and created again at 39. Okay, I want to create another file. Bashar1 equals. Remember how I told you what is the command to check the host name?
Host name.
Okay, and then what is the command to check the time? Uptime. You could see where I'm going, right? You could build up on this. And then what is the command to check the memory? You type free -h, right? What is the time to see today's date and time? You type date. You get the idea. Okay, so you're troubleshooting something. First, the moment you log into the system, you want to see all this little information here. You don't have time to like type 4 different commands, right? You come here and then you type Bashar 1 and hit enter. It voila, it gives you the output what you really wanted. So here's the first command, host name, and then here's the uptime information, and here's the memory information, and here's the date information. You could definitely, well, let's see here if we could do Bashar and then Bashar 1. So let's see. It wind up creating a file named Bashar 1. Let's get that file. It's nothing in there. So what it tells me is you cannot create two aliases to run simultaneously. So what happens if you want to modify Bashar? What you do is type alias. Oh, okay, so let's see. Okay, so you've been using this Bashar for a while, but you've forgotten what you have done. So it tells you when you type alias and then Bashar, it tells you that this is what it's doing. Okay, so what you could do is you could copy and then you can modify it. Now you want to go up and add more commands in here. Okay, let's add my favorite present working directory. PWD. Okay, you could see you could definitely do a tree too. We'll see if it's going to crash or not. And then if you want, you could have this installed too. We are already doing touch. And then you could do cat. You could do ls-l automatically. All right, did you guys get the concept? What is happening here?
Yeah.
Okay, let's see if it's going to work now. Bashar 1. It did indeed. So it ran this command pwd, and this is the output. So all this would be like very helpful when you're troubleshooting. You know, you log into a system and somebody's complaining something is happening. Okay.
So like it takes the new one and ignore the previous one, yeah?
Yeah, we rewrote it.
Okay.
Because previous one we have only 3 or 4, and then we reran the command, and then we are telling it to rewrite it. Going forward, this is the new command for alias. So you think how this is going to be helpful, and it kind of automated the stuff you really want to do. Somebody's complaining, and for the department you've been getting same complaint all the time. So you know it would be nice when the moment you go into the system, you see okay what directory you are in, and you could see what's in that directory, and then furthermore you could do ls. And then you would be typing all this manually, right? Instead of that, it's doing these things for you. And here's the host name. Here's the memory information. And then And then, okay, with one command, you have all this information in front of you, okay, and then you can pinpoint it. Oh, okay, so this system is having problem with the memory here, so you will start troubleshooting memory. So once you have this, sky's the limit here. You could put down a lot of things in here, couple hundred lines if you want. You could do this, and then it could automate a lot of stuff like run it. The moment you type it, you have a root privileges. It's going to do that. You could definitely create a directory here. Why don't we try that?
So I have a question. If you create this stuff on the root, like you create this command on the root, this really long multiple command alias, then anywhere that you log in on the root, it doesn't matter if it's your machine or it's somebody else's machine, but you log in and you go to the root, then all those commands are going to travel with you.
Yeah,
Okay.
exactly.
Okay, I was just wondering how they would port.
Network environment, it has something called NFS, network file system, and usually what happens is in a Windows environment, if you're connecting to a desktop, all your profile is on one place, right? But with this Linux, you have a traveling profile. It travels with you. And whatever you have, all the files in your local folder, you think it seems like it's a local folder, but it's actually an NFS, network file system.
Right.
And you would be having like thousands of hosts you could log into, and it travels with you.
Okay, so it's a roaming profile.
Correct.
Yeah, I get it.
Okay, so we do mkdir folder 1, and then you go in here, you kind of bored here. Don't ever put this in this alias. You don't know what's happening.
Yeah, it will delete all the.
Yeah, don't do that. I mean, you just once you have the root privileges, when you are a root, you almost have a superpowers with you. One wrong command.
But here, Zafar, I have one question. Like, if you want to rewrite, you have to rewrite it from the beginning, or like to add on the beginning of what you wrote before, or fine if you wrote like the additional command in between, in the middle, or at the end.
Yeah, no, you could do wherever you want.
Okay, it will take it and it will rewrite it, and it will ignore the previous one.
Previous sequence. See, I'm gonna do it here.
I mean, it will not take it to duplicate. This is
it will rewrite the original one. When we had original Bashar one, it has so many other things in here, right? It has only this many. Now it's up to this many. Okay, so we already have enough here. The original one was this. It has only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 commands in there. Now we have more, right? So okay, let me type Bashar. So it ran all that command, and then I think we had asked you to made something called a folder 2 or directory. mkdir folder 1. So let's see if it made a direct folder. It's not going to say here because it ran that ls command before creating a folder. So it is there. Did you get it? Any questions? Anybody?
Could you go up a little bit?
What do you want to look?
Here at the after Alias, what you wrote was Bashar 1 v2. Okay.
Yeah, when you do this, Okay, to see what's in the alias, you just type alias. Was it Bashar 1? Yeah. When you just type this, it's gonna tell you all the commands that Bashar 1 alias has in it, okay? But if you do this, you could edit here. You could add and remove something to this command, the custom command you have made. So let's see.
So when you're editing, you're not typing anything. You're just going back to it and adding things, right? You don't have to type insert or like anything like that.
No, when you bring this up like this, alias Bashar equals, but you have to see what the alias is. So you
Yeah, what you wrote before. Exactly.
Yeah.
Right.
Or you can use the tab command and add at the end without rewriting it again.
Yeah, you could do the top command too.
And add at the end of the command.
So what does top command do?
It gives you the top 10 of the file.
No, I'm not talking about top, Zafar. I'm talking about the tab, like if you want to just rewrite the alias again without retype it. The tab, it will show what you wrote before, yes?
Just type top.
No, not top.
Head?
I'm talking about in the keyboard. There is like
Tab.
tab. Yeah, exactly.
Tab. That's what he's
Oh,
saying.
the tab key. I'm not sure we'll say. I mean, because it's not saving here. The file you have here, it's not saving a Bashar 1. It's not saving here. It's saving deep down somewhere. So to do that, you have to type which. Okay. So the file Bashar is the alias. So you don't know or you've forgotten what this Bashar is. You just type which Bashar, and it says okay alias, and this is Bashar, and this is what it's attached to, and then it's sitting in here in this folder. Okay, this command is being run by Bashar 1, and this command is sitting in this folder. Let's do Bashar 1. Okay, so it came up and it's telling you this is the alias, this is Bashar, name of the alias, and these are the commands in that folder. Not the folder, but these are the commands that are associated with this Bashar. When you type Bashar 1, it's going to run all these commands, no matter what. And you could have like hundreds of commands built in here, and then what is actually doing is it's automating your work. Instead of typing pwd and hitting enter, tree hitting enter, ls-l hitting enter, you just type Bashar because you created one now, and you told that command alias to be this, so that you know whatever this is going to help you with. So if you want to edit this, you have to find out what it is, then you have to copy and paste it here. Copy and paste it here, and then instead of single quote, you have to give double quote. And then do you want to add any more, or you want to remove? You want to add any more?
No.
Let's see if we could add reader display. Okay, we could put in some command like cat and asterisk. when you put cat and asterisk, what's going to happen is going to read all the files in that folder at the moment. Okay. So we have like file 1, file 2. So let's see if it's going to work. So you could see down here, it tried to read the file it tried to read folder, and it tried to do folder 1, and it's telling you it's a directory, it can cat it. Okay, but it did cat this one here that says file 1, and it did ran the other commands too. Are you confused yet? I don't think you guys got it. Let me just make it simple. Okay, what alias is, you could create, you could use if you're like using the same commands all over again, you could combine bunch of commands and then give it a name, and once you give it a name, it's an alias, and you could give name whatever you want. Okay, so I'm giving it a name Chris, and then you have to do this equal sign, and then you see you want to run a command. You come in every day, and then you want to see what's the uptime. Oh, you want to see who logged in, right? Who is logged in into this? You type that. You want to see uptime. Okay. And then you want to see how much the memory is in this. You type free -h. That's a command to check how much memory you have. Okay, let's keep it that way, simple. Okay, once you hit enter, it took it. It's not a file. It's not creating any kind of file, anything like that. Okay, because it is saving this in the system. You're not going to see it now. And then you have this alias name Chris1. So all you have to do is Chris1, and it ran all these commands that are already built into the alias Chris1. Who, it ran who. All right. So who is logged in? This, he gave you the who information. Who is used to see who is logged in. And then the second command is uptime. So this is the uptime of the system, how long it's been up. And then the third command is you want to know the free. Free means how much memory information how much memory information is there. It will display that for you. So this is the free command. Any questions?
Zafar, how you will like if you forget that you have something saved, you save it, you create it, and you save it called Chris1, and how you will discover this in the system? Or
all you do is just type just type alias in there, and it will give you all the list of aliases.
okay. That's good.
That's a very, very good question. In fact, ls is an alias of this. It's actually an alias of, it's a built-in system built-in alias of this. It will change color equal auto, and it says color equal auto here. LL. We could mess with it. So what we could do is let's mess with this, and then we could see if we could change the color to, instead of auto, we'll change it to white. Okay. Should I hit enter? Okay, So it's not going to take the color white automatically because it needs a hexa hexadecimal code. By the way, how many colors we have? How many colors we have that are known to humans?
Red, orange, yellow, green, blue,
There are
indigo,
only
and
three
violet.
Red, green, and blue, right?
Yeah. There's
RGB.
only three real colors: RGB, red, green, and blue.
Oh yeah, RGB. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
And then using these three colors, we could make up to 65,000 colors. Okay. Is 65,000 or 65 million? How many colors? How many? Okay, 16 million. All right. So a computer could have up to 16 million colors. So you get the idea, right? But there are like only three RGB. So hex code for white.
I think it's FFF3S, yeah.
Yeah. Either 3 capital X or this one. Let's copy this. And then I'm going to change this. And it's not working still. Well, anyway, what I was trying to do is I was trying to do this built-in alias. Suppose I cannot do that at this moment, but you could do it, but you have to play around a lot more. Okay, so Bashar, anytime you're not sure how many word alias you're looking for, you've forgotten about it, you just type alias there. And you could definitely see yours is here, there, and there is one user with CP. Somebody's mic is on again. I think it's Bashar. I muted him. Okay, so did you get the idea like what we could do with this alias command?
Yes.
Yes.
And then you could see how powerful this could be. Like you could just run one command and have all the output.
It's like an action in Photoshop. Like Photoshop, you can set up a bunch of different like edits and then hit play, kind of. So, or like an instance in a way.
I suppose, yeah. I don't know much about Photoshop, but I suppose you could create profiles and just have to let it run because you have already,
Yeah, it's just similar to the idea.
you have already put some time in it to figure something out, and you could actually save it, I suppose.
Yep.
Okay, so with alias, sky's the limit here. Actually, this is the starting point of some scripting we're going to be doing later on. So we will be telling or writing some scripts for the computer for us to automate our stuff, what we're doing here, okay?
So scripting means creating code?
Creating what? I'm sorry?
What do you mean by scripting?
Scripting?
Yeah. like
So
creating.
scripting like you did in JavaScript, Java programming, we don't do a heavy, we hate to call it program, it's a script.
Okay.
So if you go in here, and then I have an section here, bash scripting, and then there's like scripting here. The codes, it's a code. I'm gonna have to teach you what all this means here. So let's see here. I think I have one example. I'm getting carried away from what I'm supposed to teach you, but it's a good question here. So I have one script here. It's telling I create a script that when we run will display the following environmental variables. I don't like that. Okay, yeah, this one is quick and easy here. So see this, I have like a one silly script here. It's telling you you wrote a code in that file name script, and it's telling you to type your name, and then it's telling you to type your last name, and it's telling you to type your age, and it will give you the output. So you could be using scripting to automate a lot of your work here. You could use Alias for a little bit, but if you're like trying to troubleshoot like thousands of servers, we will be using those scripting. I'll go over those in later in the course here, because if I show you now, it's going to be all lost. It's going to be way down here, almost towards the end of the course. Okay.
Yeah, okay, thanks.
Yeah, you did Java programming, right? Is that what you did?
Yeah.
Anybody has any scripting experience?
I have a little, but minimal.
I've just done some ODBC connections. That's about the extent of mine.
Yeah. Don't worry. I mean, for scripting, you have to start small, and then you have to just understand it and create like small scripts, and then you could combine small scripts and then make it into a little bigger size, and then after that you could make it like a very heavy script. But anyway, let's see here. Okay, so let's focus this today furthermore on the find command. It's a new command that I'm introducing today. So what find command is, it's just what it is. The name says it all. Find, it will find you the files and the directories you're looking for. Okay, so let's see here. LS. All right. Oh, okay. So PWD. So we have this file name file1, right? So we could use a find command to find the file. You use find. It starts with find command, and then you could give the directory where it's at, and then the name of the file. So you have to say name. You have to give this name here. File where find. This is the location, and what do you want to find? You're giving it a name, and you're giving it the name file1. Okay, and hit enter. So it found a file in this directory. That sounds ridiculous, right? You already know you already know where the file is, and then you're using the find command. What if you don't know where the file is at? So what will happen is you could start from root. What's going to happen now is when you're going to run this command and you're running it on root, it's going to go through all the directories and subdirectories into the root.
From the root.
From the root. From the beginning of Linux. And then let's go to root. It seems like there are only ridiculously about 98 what 98. I don't know why the number is 98, but it sounds ridiculous, right? It's gonna go through only so many files and or so many directories to find it, but these files and directories have a lot of subdirectories here. So let's see here. Let's run this command. Okay, we're looking for file name file1, and then we don't know where it's at, and then we are running it from the root, and then when you specify name, that means you have to give the name of the file. Okay, let's hit enter. Okay, see, it already found file which is in file1. Root 1. What it's doing now is cursor haven't returned back to the prompt, still continuing on to search the whole system. We'll give it a minute here and see what it's going to do next. Okay, I'm surprised it came back pretty soon. So it ran through it, and then it quickly found the file which is located in this directory here, file1. Okay, similarly you could use this. If you don't know the name of the file, exact name of the file, what you could do is you could just give the partial name and then you type asterisk in it. Okay, you remember this asterisk from the last time?
Yeah.
And then it's going to look for anything that matches FI, and then rest of them could be anything. So it's going to look for it, and look, it found a bunch of them that's ending with. So it found this file here. It starts with FI, and it doesn't care what's next. So it's bringing you all these files here. This file starts with FY. File starts with FI. So it went through the whole system and brought this back up.
Yeah, it shows also the built-in in library and binary code.
So let's see how many ones it actually brought back to us. So what you could do is you could use a pipe, and you do WC-L. What does WC-L stands for?
Word count.
Word count.
Word
Then you redo that, and then L is for lines. So it went through 1600 lines. It went through everything and brought back the result 1600 lines. Let's do this. Okay, now it's going to look for anything that starts with only F. $7,000. There are 7,000 files in the system that starts with F. Let's see if we could find Bashar. No, there is no such file as Chris. Yeah, let's do asterisk. I think we have something there, right? Nothing. Let's see if he's going to file a file named Bashar. So he did find something in there, in this folder, Bashar.
So we already have a file or a folder named Bashar, and it found Bashar 1. So the reason it didn't find Bashar is because you put an asterisk, so it's looking for a character after that.
If there is Bashar, it would have been there. It would have found it, because there is no such thing as Bashar only.
There's only Bashar 1.
Bashar 1.
Oh, okay. Never mind. That was a alias you created. It's not really a file or a folder.
No, it's a file.
Zafar, I have a question. Like being admin on the company, you can access to anyone laptop. For example, if they came to you and they told you take this file with this laptop, someone without his knowing, you can access to his file through this.
No, you can do that, but you have to have tell them to put it in a ticket. There is a ticketing system. Everybody can get like a login and ID for the ticketing system. Like your email address, you will get a ticketing system too, and nobody will just come up to you. They will send you the ticket request.
Okay, but if you are admin and you don't want to show, you want to take some secret data from this guy.
You're breaking up.
You can enter without even but without his knowledge.
If you are an admin, you could enter any system. You could go into CEO system. He wouldn't have knowledge, but it's recorded somewhere.
It would show that you enter.
Yeah.
I
It
think
would show who logged in, which admin logged in, and the passwords and everything. Those.
I think this is exactly.
Those are like some red white hat level positions. But once you have an admin root access, you could do a lot of things. You would be the owner of all the systems in the company.
Yeah, that's like, and I think in the bank system, that's how they find out if for example, employee access to the bank account for anyone, for any person. So this they will come to know.
Yeah, but admin is going to be hard for them to find admin if admin did it. But what normally happens is when you log into the system, you cannot log in as a root.
Okay. because you are like you
Yeah,
said,
let me just, I have one online server. Let me start up an online server here, then I will tell you.
So what you mean is you can log in to the root, but you're going to have your own login ID.
Yeah.
Okay.
Once you go in, you will have your own login ID. So to go into the system directly, you cannot go into the system directly as root.
Right.
You go into the system as a user, as a regular user, and
Yep.
then you could switch to root. That way it's capturing the activity, and you could be the only one user, right, with the one ID in the company.
Mm-hmm.
So that way, that's how you could track it. But if you are able to connect to the root directly, you better tell the security people that you are able to do it, and then they have to fix it.
uh, because this is something like weakness point in the system. Otherwise,
Yeah, it's a vulnerability, so you have to be watching out for that. Because you could, it could be anywhere, right? You could be, your system could be hardened, but if the network is weak, there is nothing you could do.
So if I change my user ID to root, then I wouldn't be able to log in, or I shouldn't be able to log in like
You won't.
that.
You can't change any. You can't use a user ID to root. It's going to be only one root in one place. That's it.
Right. Okay.
So I have this a cloud server, and then I'm going to connect there. I'm not able to do that. I don't know why.
but just I have one question. Like I tried to open the like the body from outside, like on the different network, but it doesn't work.
I cannot hear you, Bashar.
I have one question.
Yeah.
I tried to act like when I was using not the Wi-Fi in my home, like outside, just try to like to practice on the laptop. I was unable to access the bot. It's showing
You're
me
not
like
able to access
the bot.
the putty.
Yeah, it's showing like access denied. Maybe because I am in different network.
Um, It depends. If you have the shared network, if you're sharing the network with the Wi-Fi, then the Wi-Fi has to be giving out the IP address. So yeah, it won't work if the Wi-Fi is not connected. If you're connected to the Wi-Fi, then when you launch when you launch the screen like this, you have to do if config there. You have to type this command if config, and then this address will change. And then when you get back home, this address will go back to the one you already have
Like
saved.
you type this on the password or on the login? IF,
Not on the box.
but it doesn't open. You know, for me, like when I put the login and the password, it's mentioned like access denied. You know, doesn't allow me to reach to here. You know? Like when I went through.
You are in the virtual box, right?
Yeah. No, not virtual box. When I go to the second.
No,
box.
you have to come back to virtual box and check the new IP address. If you are in a different IP address, it will change the IP address because your card is giving out the. If you look at the settings, here you are using a DHCP IP, so it will change if the network changes, and IP will be different.
And how I will change it to make it to allow, like to.
So when you're practicing, that's what I'm saying here. You come back into VirtualBox and type ifconfig, and this is the IP address 192.168.1.49. When you are outside and connected to the network, you very connected to the network at all?
Yeah, I tried to connect to a network outside. Yeah.
Were you able to connect to the network?
Yeah, outside, yes. To the internet. No, I was unable to connect to the network, but I used I used to be online on the using different Wi-Fi.
So no, yeah, then you have to connect to the Wi-Fi first.
Yeah, I connect. After I connect to Wi-Fi,
then come to the VirtualBox and type this ifconfig, and it will give you the different IP address because the network changes, the IP address changes.
Okay, then
simply you come into PuTTY here and type it in here. Don't type it only one time. You don't have to save it.
Okay.
You could do like one time in also too. You type 192.168.1.49. You don't have to save it. You could just open it and it will open. Did you get it?
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't understand how you get to that.
So each network, Zafar, it has different ID. Yes, this is what you mean. Each Wi-Fi have different ID address.
It's supposed to, yeah.
Okay, that's why it doesn't allow me to.
Yeah, this one is like usually 192.168.1.
Like your home, your server ID, because you are.
That's your ID for your. This is your IP address. Okay, I have to show you this to you. This is on a Windows, right?
Mm-hmm.
You guys learned about this ipconfig command, right?
Yes.
Okay. When you type ipconfig, it goes through all the adapters in there. A computer could have more than one adapter. All right, let's focus on this one here, adapter 2. And then this is the IP address for this my Windows computer. I'm sorry, no. This is the IP address for this Windows computer. And this is the subnet mask. Usually it stays the same for everybody. 255.255.255.0.0. and this is the default gateway. This is the IP address of the router. When you go home, when I copy this, and then if I put that IP address into the browser, it will, it's actually an IP address for your router. If you go on to another computer and then type ifconfig, it will tell you the default gateway. All this will stay the same for the whole network. See, it's asking for me for the username and password. And if I don't give the username and password, it will deny. You have all logged into the router, right? From your computers? You have did that, right? When you
I have, yeah.
configured.
Yes.
So this is the default gateway, is nothing but it's an entry point for a router to talk to other networks. So this is, if you have two routers, it would be a different number. And then this will change because the router will be giving out the IP address. If you have another devices, it will change to something else, 17, 18, 19, so on. Almost this part will remain the same. 192.168.1.1. This is 1.1 is default gateway. Default gateway in the sense it's a router. And then it's giving out the IP address to this. It gave out the IP address to this system, which is 17. So let's see IP address for, essentially this is another computer within a computer. So this one is 149. It doesn't have to be in the serial. After 17, it doesn't, it just has its own mind. It doesn't have to give out in sequential order. Are we good so far?
Well, actually, like I was saying, I had a question about when you launch that virtual box. That's where you're supposed to be able to get this this window to do the ifconfig, and yeah. I don't see where that comes up.
If you log in, you can put ifconfig. I have to do it every single time.
That comes up when you first go in here and start. When you first click here,
okay.
Go ahead and do that. Okay, let's do this here. Start. And a black box comes up here. It goes through all this here. Remember? We talked about this. You can interrupt this and go to like 3.
Okay, so it's the same place where you change the run level and all of that.
Yeah, it comes up. And then if it's already set in 3, the reason I interrupted is I'm not sure what run level it was in. So I want to make sure it comes up in 3. And it goes through this. We are not connected to PuTTY yet.
Right.
So when you're outside, you're having some problem, and then you don't have the original IP address is not working. You could come here and take a look.
So you wait until after this loads?
Yeah. You have to wait until this load anyway to connect from PuTTY, right? You start your computer.
Right.
Yeah, like after you enter your username and your password, then you do ifconfig. At least that's what I do.
Okay.
But if you're going outside your home, and then it will definitely change for sure. And then see, it's giving the IP address is 64 here.
Okay, I understand.
All right, let's get out of this.
So like if I was going to the library and I wanted to connect from the library, then I would have to do that, most likely.
More than likely, you have to do that, yes. So any questions about the find and find command?
No.
Okay. So we use the find command and we used file one. So it promptly find the file and it gave it to you, right?
Mm-hmm.
But you know there are like thousands of files in there with the same name. But if you don't want to do the file name, what you could do is you could do the inode number too. How do I get the inode number for a file? So it gave us the inode number here, right? So you could type, instead of name, you just type I in there. And then instead of file name, you type the inode number. I'm not sure why it's not working. Give me 1 second here. Okay, maybe let's try this. I thought you could use alright. So if you get stuck, all you have to do is Google it, okay? Okay, how to find file by inode number. Oh, okay. inum. I knew I'm missing something. Simple. Find hyphen inum, then the inode number. Okay, there you go. It found it. It found it right there. But if you want to find it from the start, you just give like that. So it's going through that. It went through all from the start, and then it did find it pretty fast. So when you give the inode number, it's going to find same exact file there. Okay. So let's create let's create a file name with the same name, and then let's run that command again. So we are in folder temp, okay, but we are using the find command to find this inode number with this number. Okay, so technically it shouldn't find this file here. It should find this file which is sitting in root folder, and that's what it did. It ignored this file which is sitting in temp folder. We have a file name file1 in temp folder, right? Would you agree? See, there is a file name in temp folder file, and then let's do pwd. Because why didn't you find this file? Because it has a different inode number. See, this inode number is different than this file number inode number. So inode number is going to be same for the hard link, but it's not going to be same for the, generally speaking, if there is a different file with the same name somewhere else, it won't find it. But if you do this, if you do what was the command we used, find hyphen, if you use just the name and then file1, it should find both files now. It did. See, there is one file in the folder root, and there is another file named file1 in the temp folder. Is it clear?
Yeah, I think so.
I want to see if I should stop here now, because the next topic I'm going to cover is, it might take longer. All right, let's do, you guys have heard about zipping the files, right?
Yeah.
Zipping, unzipping, and all that. Okay, so what happens is sometimes there may be some files, like a log files that are keep writing logs of the computers. It may get like too big. Okay, so what you want to do is you want to compress that files. So let's see here. What is this command going to do?
It's going to delete all the files.
Okay. Okay, there are no files in there. Let me create a file. So I'm going to use this command to create a file name hello. And then this is the size of the file, 6 KB. I'm going to say this is another handle. You type ls-l h. When you type h, it will tell you what h stands for here. H stands for human readable. So it's, the file size is 3 KB, right? It's nothing. Let me increase the size of the file. When I'm doing this, what is happening? Each time I'm running this command, it's appending to the file. It's not overwriting it. It's writing extra to it. See, you see the size of the file increasing? Yeah, you can do that. you would come up with all kind of tricks and everything, to manipulate things. Okay, so the size of our hello file is 5 megabytes. It's kind of big size now. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to use the gzip command. We're going to use the gzip command to compress the file, okay? It's simple as that. All you have to do is type gzip and then hello and then hit enter. Oh, yeah, we messed up the LL. Okay, have you noticed anything? How much was the hello file?
5.
Remember?
5 megabytes.
5 megabytes, and it's down to 43 kilobytes. It's nothing, right? Do you see how many thousand times it reduced the file size? From 5 megabytes, it reduced it to 4 kilobytes. Okay, so when you have like a log files going on, what you could do is you just run this command, and that way it shrinks the file size. It saves you some. It saves you some disk space. You will get a lot of requests from the application team that the things are out of disk. The system is out of disk space. Don't be surprised. Majority of maybe about 20 to 25% you will get all these tickets here. So you have to work on it and see what's going on, because people have been hogging up all this online store and all that. So to unzip it, you just use gun zip and then hello.gz, okay, and hit enter, and you do ls-lh, and the file is back, the extension is gone, and then you can see the size is 5 megabytes. All right, any questions?
No, I'm good.
I want to see if I could cat hello. If it's when it's in the, see, I can't do that because it's saving it as on a granular level as a binary. So when it's in this mode here, you have to gunzip it. You have to like gunzip the hello file to bring it back to the original file and read it, okay? But that's not efficient, right? You just shrink it when you don't need it and you bring it back when you need it. So for that, what you could do is okay, to check I know how to extract data. This is all from WAC, man. Okay, so there is another command called tar. you could use you could use the tar command to archive a directory. Okay. All right. So let's unzip this file here. So we have our good file hello. So let me make directory. I'm making a directory called old, okay? And I'm going to copy this file in there. Okay, so we have this folder name, but this is fake here. Don't look at this here, the size of the directory. It says only 4K, probably because it's just containing this information here. So you have to go into old. Okay, so you have like so many files, 5 MB each. Okay, so what you do is you go back to the previous directory, and then you just type this command. You have to use these handles. It's tar. Okay, then you have to use CVF. This is how you're going to be using it exactly in your work. Okay, and then you give the name old. You give it a name old.tar. And then you have to give it the name of a directory. So what you see here is we archive this, and then actually now this is, let me clear this. Old.tar is the archive of the directory called old. Okay, but it's not. This is not to reduce the size. It's not compressing anything. It's just like making the directory as an archive, and it will save it as a file. If you look at it here at the end, it doesn't have D on it. The reason it's doing this as a tar, as a file, is because for the portability reasons. Once you archive it, you will remove it from here and move it to somewhere else, some storage place. Okay? Did you get it? Why it's being made it into a file? So obviously you could move the file easily compared to folder, right? Folder you have to use if you want to move a folder, we have done moving the folder, right? Renaming a directory. We haven't done a move folder. Move folder, moving directory from one location to another location. Okay. when we do a directory from one location to another location, there is a chance that there may be some files moving. What it's actually doing is it has to like copy each and every file to the memory and then move it to the new destination. Would you agree with that? Hello,
Yes.
everybody?
Yes.
It's a similar concept in Windows too. So, but if you made it as a file, it would be just easier for because if there is a data connection, it's a hit and miss. File will just fail. But if you're moving folder with content in it, with a bunch of files in it, usually there are thousands of files in there, and when you are moving it over the network, and if there is a data interruption, moving a file could take like hours, and if there is like a network interruption, and then after that it will continue on copying it, but you wouldn't know what files got copied and what files did not get copied. So it's extra work for you, right? When you're copying this or moving this to another location, if the network fails, it's just one file, right? You will know which files didn't get copied over. You just copied over all over again, and then you untar it at that location. Is this making sense? I'm on track, or do I need to repeat this?
No, it makes sense.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Okay. All right. So all right. Now you see this is like a file here, right? Now the next command is showing us to check the content of the tar archive. So if you do cat, we'll now be able to. What it's actually doing is this one went through each and every file and read through those files in there. But what the tar command is going to do is tar-tf it will just give you the list of files inside that directory. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We have 5 files in there. Okay. Can somebody tell me why the cat command ran? You know why the cat command ran? Because tar is a file, it's not a directory. Even though we made the tar out of a directory, it's keeping it as a file. I just mentioned that earlier too, right? The tar file is used as a file, even though it's coming from a folder.
Right. So once you zip it, it becomes a file.
No, this is not a zip. This is the tar. That means you're archiving it. Zip is the previous one we looked at.
Oh, okay. All right. Never mind.
Previous one is you're actually zipping it.
So
Yeah.
in either case, either archive or zipping, it becomes a file, regardless of what you started out with. If you started out with a folder, it still becomes a file.
Let's see. We didn't realize about the gun gzip here. We could do that. That's a very good question. And it indeed made it a file too, a tar file too. Probably for the same reasons it is not for when you try to move it somewhere else. You could just move one single file. If there's a data connection, there's a one single file failure. but we did try this earlier. We are not able to read this. We're not able to read it as a cat. In essence, it's saving this as a file, but I suppose it is actually making it as a folder. But on the other hand, tar, it's used to make it as a folder, but it's reading the content of the folder. So I think, I mean, we just understand this and not to confuse furthermore. This is being saved as a tar file, and then you could cat it and you could read through the files of those folders, and then to use to check what's inside the tar file, you use this command. It's simple. It just tells you how many files are in there. Let me see if you have like thousands of files in there. If you could use wc-l, it tells you it has six files in it. The reason one is showing is it actually read itself as one line. So you get the idea, right? If you are about to move a file, and you could check the size here, and then also you could check how many files you have in that .tar file. So this one has about 5. This one is 6. Okay, so you could use the gzip. There is a gzip built into it here. When you actually, let's stop it here. I will go over this more, and I will finish all these commands next week. Okay, because we are on time right now. All right, anybody have any questions?
No, I'm good.
Bashar? Okay, I should upload these videos either today or tomorrow. If you don't see it by tomorrow night, text me, okay? And I will do that for you. All right, I'm going to end the recording, and I'm going to drop the call.
Okay.
All right.
Assalamu alaikum.
Well, Allah Hafiz.